Okay, so here we go with part two of the fucking Ranger School tips, tricks, whatever the fuck we call it. I forgot to mention Malvesti in the rap week portion, and I realized it, and I was like, fuck, Malvesti's a big part of it. If you look at any of that surviving the cup bullshit, you'll definitely see Malvesti. It's basically you'll do this thing called a buddy run, where you'll be paired up with a buddy, and you'll run 2.5 miles in an LBV, and I think you have a rifle and boots and everything. Full not full gear, but you'll be geared up, but you won't have a ruck on, and you'll run with your buddy, and you have to get the 2.5 miles in a certain amount of time. I think it's like fucking. I think it's 20 minutes, or it might be 25 minutes. I think it's 25 minutes, and basically you have to run that 2.5 miles to Malvesti course with your buddy. You have to stay within arm's length of your buddy the whole time. If you can make the run, and if your buddy doesn't, then you still both get a minor minus or a major minus. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's a minor minus. So basically, just stick with your fucking buddy and just for no reason don't leave him, or for any reason don't leave him. Sound like a fucking retard. But yeah, just stick with your buddy and run haul ass and get to Malvesti. I was fucking wearing really heavy boots. I was wearing my heaviest boots for this run, and I was fucking sucking wind. So basically, make sure you wear your light boots. All the boots you have at Ranger School should be light. I know a lot of the guys love the Nikes. I had the C4 trainers, and those were freaking money for me. After I wore them pretty much once I had this little experience, I didn't take those things off the rest of Ranger School. And I mean, I guess in mountains you'd want something with more grip on them, and I think there's like the SV2 or something that Rocky makes that's really good with grip. So that might be good for mountains, but I just kept the C4 trainer the rest of the fucking time there, and it worked for me. I was just slipping and sliding on the mountains, but again, you're always gonna be slipping and sliding on wet leaves. But back to that, I was wearing Belvilles for that fucking 2.5 mile, and I was fucking sucking wind like real bad. We made it by like a minute, but it was really painful. It didn't have to be, you know what I'm saying? So okay, so you do your buddy run, you show up and you're fucking sucking wind, and you gotta do this fucking Malvesti course, and it's basically just the RIs are just yelling at you and shit, and you're basically crawling through the mud and like you're doing exercises with your buddy up the one side of the course, like and climbing over like little walls and shit. It's nothing really hard, and then you get to like the actual course where there's like obstacles on it or whatever. You have to like low crawl with your face in the freaking wood chips, and then you gotta like climb up a rope halfway, and then you gotta climb up these logs and shit, and you do it kind of like alongside your buddy, but you just have RIs yelling at you and shit. Just follow the RIs instructions. It's gonna be really stressful. Again, you're gonna be really tired because you're constantly working, and you just ran 2.5 miles with boots and everything. So you're gonna be tired. You're gonna be cold. You're gonna be fucking. You just gotta focus. Focus. Listen what the RIs are saying, and just fucking do what they say. You'll get in the fucking mud pit. You'll have to go across the monkey bars. Those shit. Those things roll, and they'll be slick as fuck because about a million people will go before you on those monkey bars, and there'll be fucking mud and shit all over it. So you just gotta fucking kind of fly across it. Like I remember, I made it one shot, but I was like fucking really slipping toward the end. I was just like fucking Spider-Man in that shit, just fucking monkeying across. But anyway, you just get across, and if you fucking can't get an obstacle, it's not the fucking end of the world. It'll probably piss you off. Like I never failed an obstacle there, but I could see how it would like fucking sap your again confidence. Like fuck, I just failed this, and it would just piss you off. I mean, it'd be like a little thorn in your side the rest of the fucking day or whatever. So you get a minor minus, but a minor minus ain't shit, man. Because like in Darby and Rap Week, it's like a minor minus is a big fucking deal. But man, later on in Ranger School, they fucking throw major minuses out like nothing, and you get 3 of those and you're fucking recycled. But you need 9 minor minuses to recycle. 9 minor minuses. You know how many times, how hard it is to fuck up 9 times almost? It's like you're not gonna fail 9 obstacles. You know what I mean? So don't worry about that shit. So in terms of the minuses, that phase is definitely the fucking easiest. So don't even let it bother you. If you fuck up the monkey bars or whatever, don't just fucking drive one. You know what I mean? It's not probably not your fault because everyone can do fucking monkey bars and makes it past like the PT test. It's just kind of like a fucking up. They're really slippery. You know what I mean? Like it's just bullshit. That's Ranger School's a lot of bullshit, a lot of luck. So just try to fucking get across them, and then whatever. So the last part of the fucking thing is like the worm pit thing where it's more mud, and you'll crawl through it, and then they'll fucking make you go under the barbed wire, and they'll make you go feet first. So like you'll be digging your heels into the dirt and kind of like moving yourself along with your heels, and fucking carrying all your body with your heels, and your fucking calves will cramp like a motherfucker, man. Like no shit, that was some of the greatest pain I was in ever in my life. Like it was just it's just really bad cramps. But like your calves aren't meant to. You're not meant to pull your body weight with your heels, and you have to do it. It's like the fucking longest fucking yard, man. It's excruciating. It fucking hurts because you're seizing up because it's cold mud water, and then you fucking have, your heels just digging in there, and it's, oh man, I remember that shit. I was screaming out in pain. Motherfucker behind me was kicking me in the head, like, go, man, fucking go. And I was like, all right, man, whatever. But anyway, you get through it. You just gotta go, like, I like to say full retard, man. Like, you go full retard at Ranger School. You just, you just don't even think about that shit. It's whatever. You just fucking go, oh, I'm here. I ain't going home. They're gonna have to, the words I lived by when I went there was, they're gonna have to fucking drag me off the course. If they want me to quit or to go home, they're gonna have to, like, literally, like, have two guys, like, pick me up and fucking walk me off that bitch, like, kicking and screaming, or, like, they'll have to pick my fucking carcass up. You know what I mean? So, that's the type of motivation, or that's the kind of mindset that if you have, you'll fucking get through. I mean, it's not that bad. It really ain't that bad. But it just sucks. Like, I wouldn't do it for fun, exactly. I mean, that's the fucking key. So, yeah, you'll get through Malvesti, you do some more pull-ups at the end, you'll be soaking fucking wet and shit, and then you'll go and do whatever and fuck off, and yeah, that's Malvesti. So now let me talk about Darby. Darby... take a drink there. Darby is your first phase, and everything is by the book. You'll do everything out of the Ranger handbook. You'll take all your fucking notes in that thing. You need to have it waterproofed, because that thing is your best friend. I mean, you will literally live out of that fucking thing. Every time you have downtime, they'll be like, read your Ranger handbook. And you'll fucking sleep during this time. Like, I would just sit on my fucking rock and just, like, open the book and look at it, and then I'd be like, fucking, yeah, fuck this, and I'd be sleeping. The point is, though, you will always be referencing that thing. And then throughout the rest of Ranger School, you'll reference it as well. You won't reference it as to the T as Darby. Darby's like word for word. You have to do it by the book. But the rest of Ranger School, you'll still reference the op word, obviously, if you're planning or something like that. But you don't have to go, so word for word. But Darby, that is the MO of this phase. It's doing everything fucking by the book to the T. You have to show that you know how to fucking do it. So, that's how it is. So basically, yeah, you gotta get really comfortable with that thing. And again, read the book before going down to Ranger School. You don't have to fucking like memorize that shit, but like really read the op order. Get really comfortable with like the more comfortable you are with the op order, the fucking more money you'll be when you have to deliver one. You know what I mean? You'll just be comfortable with it. And that's the only fucking part of the fucking handbook I reference the whole time. The op order, warning order, and just like be comfortable with that shit. Everything else in there about mountaineering and shit, like, don't fucking worry about that. You can glance over it and like have it to reference, but man, you will not go in your Ranger handbook for that. You'll go in there for the op order and like how the layout is. Really, that's the only thing you really use that thing for. But it's fucking essential. Yeah, it's fucking so essential. So you'll get to Darby, and you have two more graded events here. You'll have the Darby Queen and the Ranger Tasks training. Basically, Darby Queen is just a fucking legit fucking obstacle course. It's not like Malvesti, because Malvesti's like a fucking suck course where it's just like mud kind of. Darby Queen, you'll be paired with someone, and you'll have to complete every obstacle there. Again, if you get one off, it's a minor minus. But you'll essentially do about like 20 some obstacles. You'll run, the course is over like a mile and a half long or something. And you'll go with your buddy hand in hand, and you'll run to each obstacle, and your eyes will be screaming at you and shit. Again, just focus on what you gotta do, there's the tower, which isn't bad. I was scared of the towers. I'm fucking scared of heights, right? So, but it's not bad because you don't go all the way up, and you have your buddy helping you. So that was one of the things I was literally like, oh fuck, like I watched G.I. Jane and shit, and see the Navy SEAL dude like doing like he was doing like the curl up where he was doing it by himself, and he fucking just like flipping his feet over his head and shit, and like fucking ninjaing up that thing. And I'm like, fuck that, man, I can't do that shit. Or if I do, I'm gonna bust my ass and break my fucking neck. But anyway, yeah, it's not bad. You get someone to help you out and fucking Ranger that and fucking drive on. You do the tough one, that thing's not bad. You get really high up and you're like, oh shit, heights again. But then you're like, fuck, man, like I'm so fucking through with this shit that I'm just going to do it anyway. Like, like nothing really fucking, it doesn't get you anymore. It stops affecting you. So you're like higher than the trees, and you're like sliding down a fucking rope, and you're like, yeah, I'm fucking in Ranger School, cool. So yeah, it's nice. You'll climb the big ass ladder thing, and again, just fucking, it's too easy. I had to fucking climb the ladder twice because I fucking touched the fucking blue pad when I got off it, and like the guy was like, the RI gave me shit about it, and I fucking had to go do it again. And it was like, whatever. I was just kind of mad at that point because I was fucking getting tired. I mean, you're running everywhere, and you're like, fuck, let's climb this giant ladder, climb all the fuck down, and now I gotta fucking do it again, really? But that's, again, they're just trying to fuck with you. So don't give them a reason to fuck with you. I gave them a fucking reason because I touched the fucking little blue pad thing or whatever the fuck, and it was like, oh, Well, there we go. So anyway, you'll do that shit and just do the obstacles. Some obstacles will have you doing like workouts and stuff to make you do like fucking burpees or like flutter kicks or like push-ups or some shit, while other guys are doing it if there's like a backup in like the in the line on people who have to go over the obstacle. So just be ready to be tired. You know what I mean? But again, you'll come into Ranger School in good shape, so it shouldn't really be too much of a problem. And just help your buddy out. Stay motivated and shit, and just fucking you'll be done it before you know it. At the end of it, though, there is a fucking hill where they have teams, like you and your buddy will race this guy and his other buddy, and it'll be best of 3, and basically the team that has the guy who comes in first place takes the round, takes the win. So I had this fucking great idea. I was like, all right, man. Like I was with a major. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go balls out the first time. I'm gonna fucking run. I'm gonna sprint as hard as I fucking can. I'm gonna leave it all out my first heat, and I'm probably gonna win. And no shit, we won the first heat. So I was like, next heat, and I was like, on that first heat, don't, you kind of like, just kind of like jog up, like, don't fucking spend yourself. On the second heat, that's when you're going to fucking sprint. You're going to go your hardest. And these two other guys, the other team wasn't really talking. They were like, whatever. They tried to run really fast both times, but they were spent, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like work smarter, not harder, that bullshit, but no shit, that fucking worked. And we got done we did 2 fucking heats up the hill, and we were fucking done. And those guys had to go back and like race other people and shit. Like, they were probably there all fucking day. So you gotta like just do what, if you can get a fucking advantage anywhere, fucking think about it and take it. You know what I mean? Because like Ranger School's fucking cutthroat, man. Like it's like, yeah, it sucks for you guys, but it's fucking better you than me. I'm not gonna be running on this fucking hill all day. It's not even fucked anyone over. It's just like, fuck, like someone's gotta. They're gonna make someone run this hill, and I'd rather it not be me. So fuck. Use your head if you can. Your head will save you a lot. Your body a lot of fucking work at Ranger School. And that's funny coming from me because I was fucking Mr. Strong Ranger rather than Smart Ranger, but. Fuck, I wasn't even strong. I was just fucking persistent. That's all. That's what I would say. I was a persistent ranger. But, fuck, just if you can think outside the box and get yourself a little bit of a fucking advantage or fucking save yourself some pain, do it. Really, do it. So you'll do that shit, and then you'll do the ranger tasks training, which is like you'll be clearing, you'll be assembling, disassembling the M249 saw and the M240 Bravo. You'll fire, reduce stoppage, and fire again. So again, this shit, it's like, if you're comfortable with these weapons, great. If you're not, before you go down to Ranger School, get comfortable with these weapons. Like, you should have, like, time with these things where you're taking them apart and putting them back together. And if you could take them to range, that would be fucking awesome. And practice reducing stoppage. Again, it's not the end of the world. The worst thing you can get from failing Ranger tasks is a major minus. I got a major minus because I was fucking awful with the things. I think I failed. You have 7 events. Those are 4 of them. The fire reduce stoppage for the 2 open bolts, then the assembly, disassembly for the 2 open bolts. That's 4. You have to program a dagger, which is the GPS. You have to program an ASIP and an embedder. So that's 2 types of radios. That's 6 things. And then you have to place a claymore mine. You have to go through every fucking step in the book. And again, they'll give you like a quick little class before you do it, and then you can do it. So like, it's just it's a real I hated that day. I really fucking hated it. But it's not so bad. And like again, the worst you can get is a major minus. I got one and I was like, fuck, that sucks. But again, just driving one, do whatever, But they'll give you the classes for you to succeed. So after you're done all that shit, and if you got all your classes on the op order and all that stuff, and after you got your training, you'll go through to your field problem in Darby, which is, it's a total of 9 days. The first 2 days are RI-led patrols. Then the next 3 will be your graded patrols, and then they'll give you a day off to do kind of like, they'll give a student a lead patrol, but they won't grade it. So it'll be like, if you have any questions, you can fucking answer them here. And then they'll go 3 more days of graded. So I think, it's total of 9 days in the field. You'll have your planning bay where you do all your planning as a squad. Obviously, Darby's squad-based missions. So you go into planning bay, fucking, you have chalkboards up, and basically you're going to want to have some kind of way you're going to lay out the chalkboard when you're like writing your op order up on the board. So basically have, each member of the squad should have his own little niche. Like, I planned the routes every day, and I got really good at it. We did the DDTMK, which is distance, terrain feature, fucking, I don't know, I can't think of all the things off the top of my head, but, they go over it in the Ranger Handbook and everything, and all the classes and stuff. But anyway, I had my niche, and everyone else had their thing, and we were good at it. Another thing is make sure whoever the fuck's writing this shit on the board has great handwriting. Like, I was a squad leader a couple times, reading some shit, and I was like, I fucking cannot read this shit for worth, Like, I'm like, dude, who wrote this? Like, I point him out in the crowd, and I'm like, dude, what does this say? And, it doesn't look good, but, sometimes, like, I was like, fuck, I cannot read what this guy wrote. So if you're gonna write anything on the board, write it very legibly. Write, have good handwriting. So basically, you'll do your planning in the planning bays. Make sure you get a good layout with your squad. Make sure your squad operates really well here. Then you'll pitch the fucking thing for like 3 hours, and then you'll basically go out on mission. You'll do fucking recon and ambush here as a squad. And they're too easy really. I'm not gonna fucking go over how to do those things in these videos, because that should be something you should fucking be practicing before you go down there. But again, the more comfortable you are with this, the better. And obviously, the graded positions are the planning squad leader and the action zone squad leader, and then the team leaders. So Bravo team leader is the senior team leader, and he's going to be in charge of like all the accountability and equipment and stuff. And then obviously the squad leader is in charge of fucking everything, and then the alpha team leader is going to be your routes and shit. So yeah, essentially just stick with that. Make sure you know what each role is, and just do it. Knock it out. The terrain there, it's not so bad. But it's actually it's pretty shitty. Like if you get in the Hollis Branch swamp, it's fucking real shitty. Yeah, it's worse than the swamps in fucking Florida. Like we were stuck for like 4 hours one night, fucking in that bitch with under nods and just like in mud up to our chests. Like one dude fell under the fucking mud and he thought he was gonna die and shit. Like it's kind of scary because you're like, fuck, I have all this equipment on. If I fall and faceplant in this mud, like it's fucking quicksand. Like there's a possibility motherfucker will not hear me and I will fucking drown in this fucking mud. So again, it's fun, just fucking fun times. Like you would not do this shit if you weren't at Ranger School, and I'll probably never do that shit again. I probably don't want to do it again, but it's kind of fun. Like, ooh, I was fucking actually out in the swamp, like crawling around and shit. But anyway, the terrain, other than a place like that, it ain't so bad. It's like rolling hills and shit, dirt roads, all that crap. I'm attaching a write-up I did on this, like 16 pages or something, with more detail on the shit. So, if I don't cover it in these videos, look at that, and that, do a little read through, and that should double tap any information you want to see. So, yeah, basically, Darby, just don't fuck your buddy over. Just work hard. You're gonna get really fucking tired. Like, I was falling asleep on my feet, honestly. Like, I fell asleep one night. I fell asleep on my feet 3 fucking times. Like fell on my face like 3 times, and then I was like, finally, like, fuck, man, I'm gonna hurt myself, if I keep doing this. So, the sleep monster will come out and he will fucking affect everyone. So just you can't really prepare for it. It's just like some people are good at staying awake, some people suck at it. But it's like a gut check. I mean, just like don't fucking fall asleep, man. Stay in the game. Be professional. Another thing is you're gonna be working with nods. You're gonna be working with your night vision goggles. Your night vision fucking, it's like a fucking looking through a toilet paper roll. With the green. Your introduction to the green world. Like night vision, it's cool and shit, but like it fucking sucks. Like you'll want to take the fucking thing off and be like, look, I fucking just rather just walk around in the fucking dark because this thing sucks. But once you get used to it, it's fucking very useful. The bitch is heavy on your helmet and makes if you're in fucking security and you're fucking pulling security, this shit will pull your head fucking down. Keep pulling your head down because it's like fucking feels like 10 pounds on your fucking head and it's all that weight on your neck. It's whatever. But anyway, just try to get your hands on some nods before going to Ranger School because it can only help you. Being proficient with this equipment, again, it's something I wasn't really proficient with the equipment. That was one of my biggest fucking detractors. I wasn't an infantry guy, fucking logistics guy going down there, and I'm dealing with all this shit, and I'm like, fuck, man, like I should know how to fucking use these things. It's like a radio. You're in the fucking army, right? But man, I'm like, I fucking really haven't used fucking embitters or ASIPs that much. I haven't really played around with open bolt weapons. The only thing I'm semi decent with is M4. But I've never used nods before that. So they don't really give you too much of a class there. They just give you the fucking nods, and you just have to fucking work with them. So again, you're either gonna be learning that shit in the field or you can learn it in the classroom. So I would say try to learn that shit. Try to get your hands on some nods and fucking how to adjust them and like play around with them before you get down there. So it can only be a benefit to you. But basically, yeah, you'll have your fucking days out in the field at Darby. It'll be a fucking great time, and just gotta muscle through it. You'll come back, you'll do your peers and shit. With peers, I can't really give too much advice because it's just like, I think it's kind of bullshit. I think a lot of guys get fucked over with it. But the thing is, it's kind of like a popularity contest to an extent. But then it finds you the guys who are like the best. Because I know, like for me, there's a FA captain who was just amazing. Guy always fucking helped me out and shit, and I was always, putting him at number one pure spot. So it does get like I don't know. It seems to be semi accurate and shit. So just like make sure you're not a shitbag. Like carry heavy equipment. Volunteer to carry the fucking saw. When you can. I mean, it can only help, especially if you can't really give too much like tactical advice. Like some guys are like book smart, like they know what the fuck they're talking about when the operator came. And I'm like, I'm not infantry, so I don't have that much know-how on how to plan a mission for infantry. I mean, I can do it, but I'm not the guy you're gonna be asking for the fucking expert advice. I'm the guy who's asking for it. You know what I mean? So basically, I was like, all right, retard strength. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's go. I'll carry the fucking saw. So just be useful. Be useful to your squad, and then they won't fucking